Hey, this is Andrea Warner, and I'm one of the hosts of Pop This. I'm just here to let you know that we're taking a bit of a break this week and have gone into the archives to pull out one of our all-time favorite episodes for you to hear. This year marks the 20th anniversary of the rom-com How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. In classic Pop This fashion, we marked its 17th anniversary when we covered the film in episode 249, all the way back in September 2020. We hope you enjoy revisiting this movie with us. We'll be back with new episodes of the podcast in April. Thanks again for listening to Pop This.
You are listening to Pop This, the podcast where three women talk about pop culture. Here are your hosts, Lisa Christiansen, Andrea Gin, and Andrea Warner.
So we are not in summer anymore. What the? Do you remember it already? I don't remember it.
I feel
just like that.
Just like that.
But the last, I mean, in many ways, haven't the last 7 months kind of just disappeared? Like, don't you feel them sort of chasing at your heels a little bit now? Like, they felt long while they were happening, but then summer was just gone.
Yeah, I think, I can remember moments of summer, and now today we had this rainstorm to beat all rainstorms. I mean, really, that was a big one. And Andrea's in a new sweatshirt, so we're in that season. And I went shopping. Season. Yeah, and I got to go to the mall last week on my scooter because we are week 5 into my broken foot saga.
Yeah, we're still in broken foot season.
Yeah, we sure are. We've gone right from summer straight on into fall here. My hope, of course, is that I will be walking into winter, not wheeling, but we'll see. But I got to go to the mall, and I went to Uniqlo, and I just went straight for the sweatpants. I'm not fooling anybody, right? And so they were a quite expensive pair in comparison to what other things were in there, and I thought, this is money well spent. These sweatpants.
It is now time for luxury sweats.
Yes, and they have the fleece inside the sweatpants. And and then I fooled myself into thinking they were stylish because they're a bit more tapered, at the leg. And I've really convinced myself that these are something.
Are they drop crotch as well?
No.
Okay.
No. Would that be really?
I'm just asking because I remember I saw pictures of Katie Holm wandering around New York with her new boyfriend the other day, and she's in these sort of drop crotch, flat, high-waisted sweatpants that look quite great, actually, I have to say. Not on me. On me, they would be the equivalent of a very large diaper. But on Katie Holmes, they look great. And I have also invested in fall clothing. I'm not wearing it right now because it's kind of, I have to keep all the windows and doors closed in my apartment when we're recording so that I have better sound. And so it gets a little bit warm when I'm recording. But I have ordered, and I have in my possession a variety of turtleneck sweaters and regular sweaters for fall. And I've tried them all on and I love them so much.
Yeah, I know.
I've turned into a total sweatshirt person. Wherever I go now, I buy a sweatshirt with the name of the place I've been across.
That's the best. You will never regret that.
Yeah.
Well, also, they're not going to that many places, so this is going to be a very minimally minimal investment on your part.
Look for a Richmond, BC sweatshirt next time.
Can't wait.
I know. I mean, Radium Hot Springs, here we come. Hey,
yeah.
I mean,
I would. You know what? If Port Moody has merch, you should totally try and get some.
Mm-hmm. Wow, this is it now. Hey, we're really. I am actually wearing a sweatshirt with Vancouver Public Library on it.
See?
So see, look how far I went. Look, see, Vancouver.
I didn't know they made those.
They haven't for a long time. When they came out with them, I bought one right away. So
this is now a vintage designer item.
If something's only The actual library, I think, is only 25 years old. I don't know how vintage this sweatshirt could be.
I mean, at this point, it's classic rock radio, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So my question for both of you, like Lisa, you bought sweatpants, and I understand that you definitely have to wear sweatpants because you have people that live in your house and stuff. But I wear bottoms when my grandma's staying with us. But if it's just me and Carlos, you're gonna see me dressed from the top up, and it's all Winnie the Pooh down below.
I was imagining you as like McScrooge Duck or something, but Winnie the Pooh's good.
Like, I mean, obviously, like, just wearing underwear, but like I'll just be dressed from like the waist up. So Andrea Gin,
don't your legs get cold?
I like it. I run hot, so I want to be. I always I don't have throughout the entire inside time I've been wearing like sandals, like thong sandals, so that my feet aren't touching the ground directly. But for winter I'll probably switch to a slipper sandal.
I just put on socks today.
I don't like wearing socks. I like my feet to be able to be free.
They felt cold though. My feet actually felt cold today.
Oh yeah. So this has been a problem of mine, like wanting to be pantsless since I was a kid. Like I used to always take off my diaper within seconds of it being put on. Like you couldn't keep me in bottoms until I was like 4. And I think that's probably why I love dresses so much now.
The freedom.
Yeah, just the freedom. I love a breeze.
I don't know. You know what? I was like a little bored today, so I was doing a little shoe shopping online, as one does.
Yeah.
And then I thought, why am I buying shoes? I haven't worn, like I've worn one shoe now for 5 weeks, but already now I saw a scientist saying, I'll call him a scientist, just saying how some learned person.
You were reading Goop, yeah.
Yeah, I was reading Goop. And he was saying how human beings' ability to adapt is just remarkable. And I think we all know that. Mm-hmm. We're in it, right? And I mean, not only on a larger scale, but our own personal lives. But already, like, the fact that I can only wear one shoe and I've had, like, not been able to walk properly for 5 weeks, I already forget what it's like to walk. I forget what it's like to go outside my house.
Do you think like, actually wait, so how did you get down the stairs? Did you just go down on your butt?
No, I have crutches and the
I know,
railing. It's not easy.
She slid down the rail.
I did. I slid down the rail. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's very, very hard. And now I have my little scooter, so I have to get someone to carry that down for me.
Is it like, were you afraid to use your crutches going down the stairs since you did like a fall that was like gravitational?
Yes.
Yeah.
All of the, yeah. Yes. It's like you're spelling out my trauma. Yes, it was exactly. It was exactly that. Even my dog, who like Cash wanted to go out again. And I was like, you're not going out. I can't. No, this is exactly the scenario. I'm going to relive this scenario of you running down the stairs and me trying to call you and you being I can't swear, jerk. And then huffing down the stairs to get you. And that's where the whole situation began. So, yes, I don't want to do that again. But yeah, I'm already shocked at how, like, I have, like, I don't even think about it anymore. Like, I can't just walk out the door, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I think your brain's way of protecting you. It's very like, it's kind of amazing. I think about it all the time. It's just like how our bodies and our brains try to protect us from ourselves and from the outside world. And
well, I read somewhere that's how women are able to go through childbirth again after they do it the first time, is because, like, there's something in their brain that totally deletes the memory of going through the pain of childbirth the first time. And so, because they did this like survey of women who just said it was like so painful, it was so awful, they would never do it again. And then like fast forward a few months, and they're just like, yeah, I could have another baby.
It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Well, that's got to be why people like fall in love again and things too, right? Like, I mean,
Totally.
you go through it and you're just like, dear God, every single cell in my body is crushed. Hey, look at that guy.
I mean, not to forecast the film, but I
Yeah.
feel like that's
Wow.
that is really what they're setting up for the eventual How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days Part 2. Definitely the two have been divorced for like 10 years, and then they find their way back to each other through like some sort of weird, hateful online trolling. And
like a pina colada situation,
a real
or
pina
something?
colada situation
Did
for
you-
2022 or something.
Did you read that Kate Hudson recently addressed that, and she thought that the characters would be married and miserable.
hate each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like that's actually Kate Hudson's personal view of marriage too, which I love for her. I think it's great. She is very true to like who she is, which is like, yeah, you know what, 5 years and I'm good. And I just respect that.
And I'm just watching Matthew McConaughey talking about how great the movie is because of their chemistry. That man loves everything he does, honestly. We might go, that was a bad moment in your career, and you know what he'd say? I don't agree.
He sure would. And you feel that in every ounce of everything he does. However,
Yes.
I have some thoughts.
I bet you do.
You're listening to Pop This. I'm Andrea Warner.
I'm Lisa Christiansen.
I'm Andrea Gin.
And yes, we are talking about How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. I feel like we have literally talked about this movie maybe twice or 3 times a year since we started this podcast.
Uh-huh.
It's deeply fitting that on the, a month before our sort of 6th anniversary, which is...
Wow.
Or wait, 5th
Wow.
anniversary? 5th
Six.
anniversary?
It's
Yeah.
6.
6.
Is it 6? Oh my God. Okay. So
Okay,
yeah.
wow, yeah.
A month before our 6th anniversary. Which is just, yeah, like, wow.
Mind-boggling.
I know, so mind-boggling. We are finally doing it. Finally.
Yeah, so
it's
this is
shocking.
It is shocking. It is shocking since we've done a lot of rom-coms that, I mean, I don't want to say come up to the caliber of this one because, let's be honest. What is the caliber of a good rom-com? I don't even know, right? I don't know. I don't know.
All of us, I think, have a different idea.
We do on a good one. But I do remember last week, both Andrea, Jen, and I were scandalized that you'd never seen this one. And consequently, we had never spoken about it.
Yeah, so I've got some questions about that. And, but maybe first we'll do like a plot summary and,
This isn't you saying that we should feel bad because we like this movie, because don't.
No, I'm not saying that, and I won't tell you that ever. But I do have some questions about the extent to which you feel scandalized that I hadn't seen it. I might have some judgment around that.
I just felt scandalized in the way that it's just such it's one of the most, well-known rom-coms ever made.
It's one of the dumbest, best, with with the king and the queen of the rom-coms, right? I mean...
Yeah, and again, those are some of my questions as to like
How did this happen?
Sure. Okay, so I'll just quickly read the background. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is a 2003, so happy 17th anniversary, romantic comedy film directed by Donald Petrie, starring Kate Hudson and Matthew McConaughey. Now this is actually fascinating to me. It's based on a short cartoon book of the same name.
I didn't know that.
Neither did
By
I.
Michelle Alexander and Jeannie Long. And now I want to read that cartoon book because I'm
No kidding.
fascinated by that. All right. The plot summary is a bit long, but I toss it over to one of you.
Do you want to do it, Andrea?
Go for it.
Okay. All right. From BuzzFeed, Andy Anderson, which for some reason didn't occur to me till I saw it written out. Andy Anderson, played by Kate Hudson, is a lifestyle columnist for a women's magazine called Composure. She wants to prove to her boss that she is a serious, in quotation marks, journalist. So she ideates how to lose a guy in 10 days, a social experiment where she finds an unsuspecting man and tests out different things women do wrong in relationships to see what a man's breaking point is. Simultaneously, Ben Perry, played by a young, strapping Matthew McConaughey, works in advertising and makes a bet with his boss. If he can make any woman fall in love with him by the time of the upcoming company ball, then he gets to pitch his idea for a jewelry ad campaign. He and Andy run into each other at a fancy schmancy bar, chose each other for their personal missions, and as you can probably imagine, the rest of the movie is filled with debauchery, madness, and unrealistic expectations. That is all fair.
So we should also note that this movie was directed by Donald Petrie, who directed the movie we did last week,
right.
Miss Congeniality.
Yes.
So for
that's a twofer for Donald Petrie there, or Petrie.
Yeah, I feel like he's got some stuff to answer for, but that's cool. So did you both see this movie when it first came out? Tell me how you came to this film.
I did not go to the theater.
No.
To see this.
Me neither.
I'm quite certain I would have probably had to have rented it, wouldn't I? On a DVD and in a store such as, say, Blockbuster or something.
Fair.
I have no memory of this, but I'm going to make it up. I have a feeling that I walked into the Blockbuster on a Friday night and I was all, yeehaw, because there's a new rom-com in town and I'm taking it home. And I was probably, I'm going to guess I was quite happy for that because, I have low expectations. They're usually met, and sometimes I'm surprised. So that's even better.
So do you remember being surprised by this film? Like, did you like it a lot right away?
I will say this, even rewatching it didn't change it. I will say that the middle of the movie where Kate Hudson is coming up with these wild schemes to break up with him, and he has to put up with them because of his scheme. I haven't laughed so hard in a rom-com in my life. It is so stupid. It is just when, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but when she shows him the pictures of what their children would look like in the photo album, my stomach hurt laughing. They were so ugly. His face, like, it's just could not believe that anyone would do this. I don't know. I just couldn't stop. Like, it was so outrageous. It just made me laugh that hard. And then the ending is quite disappointing, I find. But that middle bit, it's the way I feel about My Best Friend's Wedding now. There are some things about the movie I just kind of feel lag, but I can just watch that middle bit where Rupert Everett shows up.
Yeah.
And they have the lunch scene and all that. Mm-hmm. I'll just watch that. I like this movie enough now that I can just watch the scenes I like.
Okay, fair. AG, how about you? Did you see it when it first came out?
I don't think I saw it right away. I think it must have been on TV at some point. And I just watched it, and like Lisa, kind of went in with low expectations because it was just like, I want to watch a dumb movie that, just as a distraction or something, and then found it. I remember just being surprised that I found Kate Hudson to be so charming. And I think it's like in the same way, like she reminds everybody of like Goldie Hawn and, her movies. And she's got channels that same kind of charm onto the screen. And I just remember being a little bit pleasantly surprised by that.
Totally fair.
Yeah.
And revisiting it now, do you think it holds up?
Well, revisiting it now, it feels a little bit like, because, when you watch that movie the first time and you're not watching it with a critical eye, you're just kind of like, oh, wow, that yellow dress is amazing. And,
yeah,
you're not thinking about it too much. But I think when you watch something the second time, it's just like, yeah, this plot is super stupid and convoluted, and it's based on, and she's really mean to that friend of hers that kind of initiates the whole thing, initiates like the whole idea for the article because
No, she's
she has them.
rescuing her friend because that's what good girls do.
And yeah, and I've kind of like I've never been a Matthew McConaughey fan, and so it felt a bit exhausting to watch it this time. But
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, Kate Hudson's still charming.
Okay, so for the first 45 minutes of this film, I was like, this is so long.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes so long to get started. And it's similarly paced to Miss Congeniality. It doesn't pick up, Miss Congeniality picks up when you get to the beauty pageant. This also doesn't pick up until Kate Hudson starts being completely unhinged in her sort of like machinations, right?
I'm already laughing again.
Yeah, so like as she gets like more and more volatile, and he has to play the straight man to her, that volatility, and because he has his own con going on, I started to really enjoy that. Like,
see, that's funny.
Yeah,
Yes.
Aspects of it were very funny. Like very funny. There, I have a lot of quotes that I like thought were very funny. Like I think
is one about the fern.
No, I love Fern is a hard sell for me, but but Princess Sophia, honestly, like if you're gonna, I mean, I know it's very dumb and very like ridiculous and sort of like gendered and silly, but like because so much of this movie is this weird sort of panic around what is manhood and what is female behavior. Like I find that in the context of this film, when she does decide that she's going to call it Princess Sophia, his penis, like I very much enjoyed that as like as a plot device. And then when she names the dog Sophia, I just really enjoyed that as well. Or no, Krull. The dog is Krull because he wanted the penis to be called Krull. And I think like his willingness to play, like I think Matthew McConaughey actually, that I hate him. And
why do you hate him? Just because he's boring?
Yeah, he's
a bit boring.
Super boring, and his portrayals of characters are always these cocky, very like pleased with himself. Like it's not. He doesn't have a lot of stretch,
Dallas Buyers Club. Did you see that?
Niche.
Did you see Dallas Buyers Club? Yeah, you didn't think he was good in that? I did.
Like he's fine, but he's still playing like Matthew McConaughey in dress up of like what he thinks. Like like it's like
even in True Detective, I thought he was so good in True Detective.
I never watched True Detective.
Okay,
so I
Tom's
can't speak
a flat
to that.
circle, and you're gonna have to. I love that.
I mean,
I thought he was really good in it.
I just like for what he's doing here. It's not. I don't like what he's selling because it feels gross to me. Like it feels, how like some things are like butter and they're delicious and real. He's margarine. He is canola oil in.
Wow. Well, okay. Wow.
Like he's just gross.
Did you like him better or worse in The Wedding Planner?
I liked him better in this. And so this is where like this was the real revelation for me, is that when they finally go to, so I started to sort of enjoy him as he's just trying to like get a handle on Andy's behaviors. And I thought he did sort of like a fun job, and he's sort of like, as he has to dial down his cockiness to be always reacting to her over the top sort of like qualities, that's where he gets a little bit more authentic. And I enjoyed that portrayal a little bit more. And I'm a sucker for that stupid Staten Island trip. I very much enjoyed
with like the family
I liked the family thing. Yeah. I liked watching them. I mean, I thought it was wildly irresponsible to teach a person to drive a motorcycle on a boardwalk. How about have the first time you have sex in your parents' bathroom? I mean, whatever. Like everyone's done that.
Well, no, but that was not the scene I was expecting.
It speaks to who they both are as people, which is not very good people, right? Like, I mean, it's fine. Like everything is about them and like what they need, and not about, they're always like, And that's the other thing I sort of like, I think, for a rom-com, I think is really interesting, is to make both people kind of not very good people. Like, we're told that they're both better than they are because of these different sort of coded clues. Like, Andy eats a burger. Andy cares for her friend. Andy wants to go to Tajikistan. Like, Andy is going to solve world peace with her incredible writing of lists. Like, she's, you know, all these things. And
it's kind
he
of
changes
another,
a diaper. So God knows he's basically an angel.
but it's kind of an like earlier example of cool girl that is
Yeah,
described
for sure.
in the
Yeah,
Gone Girl
yeah.
movie.
And
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, this is going to be,
She likes sports, really.
Yeah, she likes
and
sports, she loves-
hides in the kitchen to watch the sporting event, but then she pretends to like Celine Dion. No, it's extremely gross and old-fashioned in that way. It's like
Yeah.
quite depressing that way.
yeah. And I'm going to say something that's going to maybe upset both of you. But while I was watching it, I liked Kate Hudson's performance for the most part in this.
Are you going to tell us you masturbated?
No, I would expect that if I told you that,
Okay.
you'd be like, all right, good. That's great. Healthy masturbation is fantastic. No,
I just didn't know where this was going, and I just wanted to check. Okay.
no, this is going to upset you even more than that would. Is that, like, while I was watching this whole, like, sort of early proto cool girl kind of thing, I was like, oh, Kate Hudson is basically like Cameron Diaz light. And that's not really good enough. You know what I mean? Like, she's good and she's fine, and I like her. I like her mom a lot as well. I think Goldie Hawn's wonderful. But, like, I think, like, there's a
But yeah, isn't Goldie Hawn the original Cameron Diaz?
Maybe, arguably.
Wow.
But I don't think Goldie Hawn was ever as
We all know that's her mom, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
You didn't
she was
say
never she was never positioned as sort of like down to earth cool girl, as like Cameron Diaz is always like sort of the, like, she can rock it with the boys, you know? Like, it's like Goldie Hawn wasn't really, she didn't have to channel that because
No, that was never Goldie Hawn. That's
yeah,
right.
She didn't have to, and she didn't have to contend with that because she wasn't like, you know, feminism wasn't what it is, right?
But I just meant in the way that, like, it's sort
Have
of
you
like
seen
the
Overboard?
cute, the cute comedy character.
Yeah, like, I liked Kate Hudson enough in this, and I thought, like, so there are aspects of this I was prepared to, like, be utterly ambivalent to it entirely, and I'm mad that I cried.
Oh, really?
Cried? When did
What
you cry? Yeah.
When Kate Hudson teared up in the bathroom before they bone. She was like upset realizing that she, like, when she was
when
like,
you throw the word bone in there, and you crying, it's just circuitry.
I mean,
overload
yeah,
there.
sorry. No, but, like, when she's like, your mom hugged me, and she, like, really meant it. And I thought that she performed that scene far better than the movie deserves, you know?
Well, let's be honest. The movie makes no sense at all.
Oh my God, it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
It really is. It's very complicated, and it doesn't really make any sense at all. But I will go with Matthew McConaughey saying that, you know, when you've got chemistry between two people, then you kind of get lost in the plot because that it's working, and then later on you go, what the hell was that? Like, that makes no sense at all. Like, none at all. But, if Catherine Hahn wants to pretend to be a therapist after their 3 dates, I am laughing so hard.
Yeah, like, honestly, I love the idea that, like, you're going to go to therapy in the midst of, like, your 10 days. Like, after 3 dates, you're going to start therapy. Like, all of these things are kind of funny on their own.
Oh, my gosh.
But, like, it's just so convoluted as a setup.
Yeah, no,
and, like,
it is.
Needlessly convoluted for the ridiculous ease of the resolution. It's like they had no idea how to end the movie other than to fall back on that, like, when they
the chasing in a car and motorcycle, like, didn't he do that at the end of Wedding Planner too?
He's done it on the end of everything.
Yeah,
And they waste this kind of good family scene where they set up the BS game, and it's kind of fun, and it's, like, not great, but it's kind of fun. And, like, you get into it and you're like, this family seems cool. I would want to hang out on their their porch. And then you have this end line where he is like, I'm not allowed to swear on the podcast, but he's like, "Bull," and then she's like, "Are you calling my bluff?" Gross. What a dumb final line for a film. Like, so stupid.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
So stupid.
And stopping on the bridge, which is very unsafe, it seems to me. But yeah, no, I don't. It's so it was needlessly convoluted, needlessly at the end, isn't at this event with the diamonds and the I really, even if you asked me to explain that the whole scene to you, I couldn't. I don't know who was singing or why, and why they were angry at each other. I didn't even get that.
And why was Marvin Hamlish there?
And
Well,
why was the
I mean,
song
that's-
that they picked "You're So Vain"?
Like, you know that they licensed it once and they were like, well, we're going to use this as much as possible.
Which is weird because it's a Carly Simon song, not Marvin Hamlish, right?
No,
So
I know.
Why wouldn't you
I
pick
know.
a Marvin Hamlish?
I actually very much enjoyed Kate Hudson's Andy changing the lyrics in the apartment when she's singing it. Like, and I loved Ben trying to like go along with it and kind of get into it. And like, I do love the awkwardness of him trying to anticipate where she's going. And like,
That's it. That's why it's funny because he has. It's just that it's so brief. It's in fact the whole movie could only be 20 minutes for me. Honestly,
it really could.
It really could, because that particular part where he doesn't understand what she's doing, and it's always that look on his face, like he's like when she brings the dog to the office and it's so stupid, and I'm laughing again.
But it's so stupid. It's so stupid. And it was hard for me. I really could not get into it until about, I don't know, I guess the hour mark. And then I checked to see how much longer there was left. And there was another hour.
Yeah, no,
like,
it's long.
How is this movie 2 hours long?
Yeah. I don't know how we would get to these weird scenes of the only, okay, this is interesting because I do, all of a sudden this occurred to me. There was a movie with Goldie Hawn and Steve Martin, and it's an old one, and I don't remember. House Guest, I think it's called.
House Guest.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and do you remember the scene where they have to keep lying? Like they're each lying, but it's like an improv where you always have to say yes, right?
Yeah.
Like whatever that person throws at you.
Yes, and yeah.
Yes, and exactly. And they're doing that at this house. And I remember laughing so unbearably hard because it was flowing in that same way. Like each person is like, I have no idea what's coming next.
Yeah.
Or like in A Fish Called Wanda.
You know, I was about to watch A Fish Called Wanda the other night, and then for some reason we couldn't or didn't or whatever. But then I was like, we should watch that, and we should also do that on
You've
this
never
podcast.
seen that?
Oh no, I've seen it, but
okay.
I saw it when I was like 20. Like
Yeah.
I don't remember it at all.
Okay, well, there's a similar scene where someone just shows up and somebody has to pretend as if they knew they were always there. Mm-hmm. And those sorts of things, now that I'm thinking about it, if they could just only make rom-coms like that for me, I would be happy.
Yeah.
Just absurd things.
But okay, so I've been on this journey of rom-coms just since this, podcast started.
Honestly, me too.
But so
Honestly, not me.
But do we think that there is such a thing as a good rom-com? Like, can you think of what you consider a good rom-com?
Yes. I do think My Best Friend's Wedding is a good rom-com.
I agree.
And
Yes.
I mean, and Lisa, you're not going to agree with me here, but I do think Love Actually is a decent rom-com.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I would throw into the mix Bridget Jones' Diary.
Oh yeah, you know what? That's pretty good.
I really like that one.
It makes me laugh a lot.
It does, and I feel like it does all the things you want from a rom-com, and it's a little bit better. It's funnier. It's a little dark. It does that thing we like in a rom-com, which is that this woman gets to be herself and have someone love her for who she is.
Yeah.
Which this movie kind of plays with a bit, right? That she's pretending to be someone else, and meanwhile, Meanwhile, that's kind of dumb because, of course, any man would have fallen in love with this awesome, hot woman who liked to go to basketball games all the time. That's what's stupid.
Well, that's what Catherine Hahn says at the beginning, and I just like Catherine Hahn gets it's a pretty thankless role for her.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Luckily, we know her career picks up, right?
Yeah, like her, like I haven't watched her show on HBO where I think she just basically is a divorced woman who gets to have a lot of sex. But I know it premiered last year, I think, and I don't know if it's continuing or not, but that was like basically the whole premise of the show and I don't know if that's what it stuck with or not, but and she was so great in Parks and Rec and so many other things, and I just like, but this is a deeply thankless role. But I mean, most of the side characters are like, you know,
Judy Greer must have been busy. That's all I can say.
Well, even naming the two, like Michael Michelle and Shalom.
Harlow. I hadn't thought about Shalom Harlow forever.
Yeah, I haven't thought about her forever. I really like Michael Michelle, and I was very disappointed that she was relegated to like being in this sort of like it was as if they were the two like ugly stepsisters, like the evil connivers or whatever, even though like Adam Greenberg and Tom Lennon, like
I mean, like why should they have why should Matthew McConaughey have their diamond account?
He steals the campaign slogan from the woman he's trying to manipulate. Like, he doesn't even give her credit. Well, he does give her credit, excuse me, but he doesn't tell her like, hey, can I use this thing that you just said as like like there's no, and also gross. Go frost yourself, guys.
That's not gonna make me buy a diamond. Go frost yourself.
That is such a male like. Just like, oh, I love that there's a connotation of jizz related to it, but I'm not going to acknowledge that as like part of like just, oh my God, come on.
But yeah, like that part of the work thing to me like irritated me more because I'm more aware of like, the mediocre white man sort of, in the workplace. And
why is it always that boring job? Every movie, they're always advertising, right? It's always, they have to come up with a campaign and they have
because advertising is so smarmy.
like after Mad Men, we're done, right? Like we don't need to.
We never need to do advertising again.
And isn't that what like Bewitched? That's what Darren was doing, right? Wasn't he advertising?
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense for Darren.
Durwood. Darren. Yeah, so they're always in advertising, and they're always got accounts. And we remember we did the Diane Keaton one when she gets the baby.
Oh,
Baby Boom?
Baby Boom. Yes.
She's in advertising, remember?
She is. So many people in movies are in advertising or journalism, and they're always really bad at their jobs. Like journalists, especially women journalists.
Yeah, the 13 going on 30. She's in that.
She's in magazine editing. Yeah. But like every woman journalist in a film is typically absolutely willing to compromise her ethics for some kind of weird magic sex relationship. Like, I don't know how many of you, like, since we're all technically, come from journalism, have you guys all like just been like, you know what? I will totally throw my career away to follow Dick down to the like is that no.
I mean,
never mind.
Lisa has a look on her face.
The silence was deafening, so never mind. I guess.
I would have liked to have had these offers just so I could say no. I say no. My ethics are far more important than whatever this is. Yeah.
I'm so sorry you didn't get the offers, I guess. I don't know. I don't think I've really had
there's still time. Should someone
100%.
Something.
Don't invite people to call you and offer you weird stuff. No.
For the story, man. I don't know why that profession in particular, but the ones we see, they're always working for these women's magazines, and there's always this opportunity to do something a little better. What was God, we've watched so many of them now. Isn't that what Drew Barrymore's doing in?
Never Been Kissed.
Yeah, isn't that going back to high school?
She has to go back to high school so that she can like prove herself as a journalist. And
Yeah.
No, it's rampant, honestly. Like it's
The only switch to this is that brilliant performance by James Marsden in 27 Dresses.
honestly, okay. So I know this is like just so wild, but I think 27 Dresses kind of holds up. It's not the worst rom-com in the world.
No, it's not. And why? Why? Why do you think that is?
I think that
It's not going to be Katherine Heigl.
Katherine Heigl is not terrible in 27 Dresses. She's pretty good. Mm-hmm. And James Marsden is adequate. He really like helps the film. So you know that I'm coming around on James Marsden, especially compared to Matthew McConaughey. But I will say this, I think
I will say that.
This is my, and it's actually particularly when I guess like also sort of the styling of him in this film, like he's slick and gross, except after they come out of the rain. And he doesn't have all of his normal bronzer on. His hair is less of an oil field. He's just like a kind of a more normal man. And there's something like just the tiniest bit like less like contagious about him in the bathroom. He just feels like, I don't know, better. I post like rainstorm apparent or getting, maybe it's because he's been sprayed by dirty groundwater from a truck.
Wow.
And that really like just helped dampen the like bravado.
So, Lisa, have you always not minded Matthew McConaughey, or have you gone through phases where you've disliked him and then liked him?
No, I've always sort of found him. I see all of what you're saying though, the sort of gross slickness and stuff, but I think he has a charming smile, and that Southern charm thing would work on me. Yeah, it would. I'm not gonna lie, and I think you're lying too. I think if it was done well, I think your knees would give out too.
I think the Southern accent is fine by me. It's the rest of the package.
It's not the accent. It's the charm. It's those manners. It's that slowness. It's that.
Oh no, I don't like the manners. Are a total performative crap. Like
but flirting is performative. Hello.
I don't like the way he says ladies. You're just like immediate. And when he tries to defend himself, he's like, I love women. I'm like, ugh, I've heard that from so many gross dudes.
Yeah.
It feels
really patronizing.
Yes.
No, it is. Absolutely. But I'd still fall for it. So
I don't think I would fall for it, but I think the accent I actually would fall for.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. I think like I'm as like, although, you know what? I don't know. There's definitely when he draws extra, when he's doing an extra performance of his like drawl, like I'm not super into it, but when he's just normal drawl, I'm kind of into it.
I just feel like there's, and the other person I guess he's compared to the most is like Woody Harrelson, who is, I will grant, a much better actor and more range and things.
Yeah.
I mean, like, let's just talk about Cheers. But anyway, no, I was going to say, there's something sort of oddly, they're just there, and they just, do you know what I mean? They're like, they just do the thing they got to do, and then they move on, and I don't know. It's like a magical quality about them.
Okay, well, let's just say like to be frank, if I'm going to fall for one of those two, it's going to be Woody Harrelson. Uh-huh. But only if he does not talk to me about
how high he is.
No, I don't mind that. I'd rather hear that than his thoughts on like how the government is surveilling us and like 5G conspiracies. Because I think he's a bit of an anti-vaxxer. So I can't really handle that. But yeah, I'd love to just sit and listen to him talk about weed for a long time. I've interviewed him once before, I will say, and we had a dynamite time. He is a fun man to talk to.
Yeah.
He is 100% charm himself. Is he also, descended from a sociopath? Sure is.
Yeah, well.
Is that related? Who knows?
Who knows? And the other person I would put also in this category and also shows up in rom-coms a lot is Owen Wilson. I find that Owen Wilson could have been in this.
I like Owen Wilson because I loved a lot of Anderson films.
Wes Anderson.
Well, yes.
I'm a Wes Anderson, early Wes Anderson devotee.
Yeah.
And I like Owen Wilson for that. I just recently rewatched Wedding Crashers. We thought it would be fun to get high and rewatch that. Terrible idea, guys.
Oh.
Wedding Crashers is very much, it should stay when it happened.
I think that was the first movie I ever saw Bradley Cooper in. Do you think that's right?
That could be very much right. Did you watch Alias?
No.
Okay.
He was in that?
He was on Alias. He started with Jennifer Garner.
Yeah.
And he was on Alias.
Okay.
And I mean, that's the perfect role for Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
So, not to keep circling back to this, but
Please.
Do you blanket hate Matthew McConaughey in all movies or just rom-coms? Did you like him in when he's not in a romantic lead role, like Lincoln Lawyer or Interstellar?
I don't really believe him in anything. This is, I think, one of his better performances, and I only like 15 minutes of it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's, yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else I've ever seen of his that I've actually liked him in.
Those Lincoln commercials? Because you bought a Lincoln after, remember?
Well, he was in,
I mean,
and it was weird that you would just buy a Lincoln. It was very
weird.
out of character.
I returned it the next day, to be fair.
You did, but...
they kind of refer to, he made The Lincoln Lawyer in 2011, and they refer to, the 5-year period after that as, his work, how he enjoyed a period of, popularity again.
His renaissance?
Yeah, because he did, Magic Mike, Dallas Buyers Club, Wolf of
you know
Wall
what?
Street.
He's perfect in Magic Mike.
He's like a sleazy impresario, right?
He is perfect in Magic Mike. That is the best use of his talents, bar none. That is 100%.
Yeah, but I don't think you're really saying that. I think you're
no,
he's grim in it because he's grim.
Oh, sure, it's grim, but I very much enjoyed Magic Mike. I also think it's the best use.
I'm going to be honest with you. I did not watch all of Magic Mike. I got so bored and I didn't care. And that is a weird. I love Steven Soderbergh movies a lot. Mm-hmm. I even really like Channing Tatum a lot. I've loved him in so many movies. Magic Mike, as soon as he started talking about his dreams of being a woodworker or whatever, I was so bored.
You're show me your dancing. I
didn't even care.
Those butts.
The dancing didn't even I was just bored at that. I don't know. Did that movie pick up?
I really just love a lot of choreography, so I think that's where I was. I also have you ever been to a male strip club?
Yes.
No.
Okay, so Vancouver doesn't have a lot of male strip clubs. I've been to 2 or 3 male strip nights in my life, and all of them were kind of deeply traumatizing, because male strippers get super naked and rub their penises on you. That's just what they do, at least in my experience. I don't like that, but I did not really have the words to say that when I was 22. It's a not great atmosphere, but it can be very funny if you just disassociate enough. And so Magic Mike is, I think, very funny in certain places. I think it attempts to do that thing where it, because it's women get so slut shamed for doing this kind of dance work. Channing Tatum came in and was like, well, we'll do this movie and show this aspect of my life and which just help turn around the narrative, which is always just white men rushing in to think that they're gonna change the world. And that's not really how it goes. But I do appreciate sort of anything that seeks to sort of show that this work is hard work. and is valid work, and people have a right to sort of like make money however they need to, particularly in America. So I liked it for all those things, and it could be funny sometimes.
I once a long time ago, someone decided to get my friend for her birthday a stripper thing, and a guy arrived and hit his the boombox with Kool and the Gang Celebrate, and she was kind of like, what's going on? Because it was her birthday and she knew that we were all there for her birthday. And then he kind of came by and sat her down, and she was so angry and uncomfortable that I think it scarred everyone in the room. And I and everyone should have known this was not something she would think was funny. And so it wasn't. And I think she looked near tears, and the guy felt like he had Oh, no, it was... I still can muster up the bad feelings of that sad, strange quiet that descended.
The sad, strange quiet of like just like a violation of consent on everyone's... It's just awful. Awful.
In his little tiny, leopard spotted briefs.
Yep.
As he decided just to... I'm going to finish up here.
He's got a job to do. Yeah,
he's got a job. We all knew this, and then with that ending of the song and the sort of crickets in the room and the shuffling and coughs. Oh boy. So so maybe
there are very few very specific people that you would do that to.
Yes.
And my friend was not one of them. And so, maybe I channeled some of that into my Magic experience.
Yeah, fair. AG, you said you've also been to strip clubs. I'm curious about this. Tell me.
It was
called Every Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, the Boom Boom Room closed ages ago. She has nowhere to go. What are you talking about?
No, actually, one of the first audio documentaries I ever did for CBC was on ladies' nights.
Oh, amazing!
Vancouver. And so,
oh my God, can you imagine if we crossed paths like way ages ago? Like that was like
maybe
a secret origin story, like to be revealed.
Yeah, maybe I interviewed you at one of those clubs. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's ladies' night. I know I'm not allowed to say.
My friend ended up dating one of the strippers for like a few months after.
And
I mean, you got to be prepared for some stuff. Like it was, as far as I know, the sex was good, but she then very quickly soon after became a Jehovah's Witness. And I don't know how related the two are, but I will say that they followed suit pretty fast. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be a challenge to, I mean, it's not all the full Monty, is it?
No, the full Monty is a very specific arrangement. They probably didn't, just open up a male strip club after that and the same 10 women in the town came to see them every week.
Although I do like that movie, The Full Monty.
I like that movie too. It's anyway.
It's a lot better than, I will give it a lot better than this movie.
Well, I wonder if it holds up because, a lot of stuff you watch later and it doesn't hold up as well as you think it did. I think about the Wedding Crashers experience from a few weeks ago and how that was supposed to be sort of a rom-com, and it's truly terrible. It's like, and I remember liking it when it first came out.
Yeah, me too.
And oh boy, rough. This movie also has a lot of sort of contextual things that I super hate. That I just want to it's contextual to 2003 version of comedy. A lot of fat shaming, a lot of fat phobia, a lot of homophobia, gender stereotypes, sexism, misogyny.
This movie or Wedding Crashers?
This movie. Oh, and Wedding Crashers.
This movie. Yeah,
both,
okay. Yeah.
Rampant ableism. It's also obviously super white. And it's, all these things are not great.
But I feel, this is not to excuse it in any way, but I feel like it's one of the best dress moments in a movie.
The yellow dress?
Yeah, the yellow dress still stands up after all this time. Yeah.
The yellow dress
does.
is iconic. I think the red dress in Pretty Woman is iconic. Like there's just like there are some and I will say I enjoy Pretty Woman as a rom-com. All the other things around it that are not great acknowledged. But it has a weird place in my heart.
Really?
Yeah, I know,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, that one does not for me.
No. Oh, fascinating. Okay, well, great. I can't wait to, because that's like we have to do that before the end of the year because it's doing its 30th anniversary this year.
Yeah, no.
I don't think I've ever seen Pretty Woman.
What? Oh, come on. That's even more scandalous.
That's way more scandalous than me not having seen this. Oh my God.
Yes, I have to agree. Oh my gosh.
I just spat all over my microphone.
Yeah, no. Jeez. I mean, to be fair, it's Cinderella, but she's a prostitute or a sex worker. So there you go.
Yeah.
I mean,
sure, but I mean, I still enjoy lots of different depictions of the Cinderella story. And,
oh yeah.
And Julia Roberts is lovely.
It's hard to remember that kind of thing, like when they have that expression, like a star-making role, like when you everyone talking about when they saw Bridesmaids.
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, Maya Rudolph and all the cast, but you were like, who is this Melissa McCarthy? Like, can we just have her in everything now?
Yeah.
And so you always forget these kind of star-making roles because you can't go back and see them again.
No, yeah.
With
They're
the fresh eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Well, okay. So, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. I'm glad I watched it.
I'll say the midsection pops. I don't know if we were allowed to do that.
Yeah, honestly, like there's like 30 minutes of this film that I think, well, maybe not 30, 20. 20 minutes of this film really popped for me. Yeah. I don't love the rest of it.
That I would agree with. 100%.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Oh my God. Can you imagine if we could just like refine all the films that we end up kind of like hating, but like take out the 20 minutes that we like and then just mash them up into our own like highlights reel?
Yeah, we should just do like the pop this edit.
Yeah, just a little montage of moments we think you should watch.
Yeah, that'd be great. I did really enjoy seeing little bits of New York in it, though. That made me happy.
Yeah. I
know we didn't get to see a lot, but I'll even take a trip to Staten Island where I'm just watching Manhattan from across the river.
Yeah, I know where. Yeah, I'll that's my travel right now too. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so we love to leave our episodes on something we recommend. Lisa, would you like to go first?
Sure. So, new-ish podcast that I just started listening to called Smartless. Have you heard this one yet?
No, tell me more.
Okay, so this is Jason Bateman, Sean Hayes, and Will Arnett.
Huh.
And they surprise each other with a guest every week. So, the first one I listened to was with Melissa McCarthy.
Oh, fun.
And so, it's just them being funny, and that's enough, really. All of them have quite different personalities. Mm-hmm. I didn't know Jason Bateman was such a curmudgeon, but he gives Larry David a run for his money. Anyway, since we're all just trying to find ways to get by, I'm not going to tell you that you learn anything here. I'm not going to tell you that anything new happens. I'm not even going to really tell you if it was needed. I don't know. But it's there.
What a ringing endorsement.
And it's just like we have so many podcasts now, right? Like we're on one, right? And in the 6 years we've been doing this, the number, like especially now with our actors not being able to work, I mean, they're all making a goddamn podcast, every single one of them, right? So, you find who your person is and I guess enjoy it. And these three people together have made my stomach hurt quite a few times. I have to say that. And
that's awesome.
So Smartless, the podcast.
Great. AG, what about you?
I have been digging into this novel called Pachinko by Min Jin Lee. It came out a few years ago, and it's about several generations of this Korean family told from the women's point of view. And yeah, I'm just halfway through reading it, and it's deeply engrossing, and it's so good to be. I haven't enjoyed a novel like this in such a long time, where you're just kind of transported to a completely different time and place, and like you just get lost for a couple hours while you read. And yeah, it's an amazing book.
That's
That's
a great ringing endorsement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds wonderful. I'm going to recommend some music. There is a new album from an artist called Gin, Jeen. It's out October 9th. And Gin is a singer-songwriter from Toronto. This is her forthcoming self-titled album. And I really, it's a super cool sounding record. Like, if you loved Yeah Yeah Yeahs and Mazzy Star and the Cranberries, like there are echoes of that throughout the whole album. And it's just like, it's so good. It's you know, she's pretty underrated. She's been around for a while. I think this is her 4th record. She's also part of Broken Social Scene now, and is, you know, just she's doing a lot of stuff, and I cannot highly recommend it enough. I think it's so interesting to me when artists like do a self-titled album like this far into your career. I think it's like a sort of declaration. And it's a real power move, and I really love it. So, Gin, Jeen.
We've covered all your bases then. Got a podcast, some music, and a book.
I know. We never plan it that well.
No.
Well, we never plan it, so that probably speaks to that.
We just wing it.
We wing it all. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We really appreciate you hanging out with us in all these at-home episodes. We hope that you are safe and healthy, and just like personally, today is a pretty like devastating day. So justice for Breonna Taylor. That sucks a lot, and that's a very inelegant way to say it. But I hope that everyone finds some kind of semblance of like justice and in their own lives.
Well put. Well put. Yes. And thank you all for joining us. We record in our individual homes in beautiful, as far as I know, because I can't get out there, Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Andrea Gin is our producer and our co-host. And thanks for being here with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.